Hey my Patriot friends, welcome back to Colonial. Before we get into today's video, make sure to comment, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you get notified when I post a new video. I post every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Let's get started with today's video. So today I am going to be doing Never Have I Ever, not with a group, not with my mother, not with my siblings. I don't have any siblings, but not with my mother anyway, because I just want you guys to learn more about me. Yeah, I just want you guys to learn more about me, and I'm not going to tell you guys any personal information because that's personal to me, but yeah, that's why I'm doing Never Have I Ever without a group. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications, and please get me to 1,000 subscribers, because then I will be answering Instagram questions that you guys have for me, or questions that you guys have for me. And if you have any questions, and if you don't want to follow me on Instagram, that's fine. Just leave them in the comment below, so when I post, check my YouTube notifications, I can see what you guys commented and asked me. So, the way this works is I'm gonna read a question. If I have done something, I'm gonna say I have. I'm gonna put up I have, and if I've never if I've never done something, I'm gonna say I have never. So, first one, never have I ever told myself a joke and then laughed out loud. This is instead of a history lesson. I'm just gonna be doing something for fun. So, never have I ever told myself a joke and then laughed out loud. I have. I heard on TikTok a joke. What do you call an illegally parked frog? Toad, and I started laughing. If you get that joke, you'd laugh too. Alright, next one. Never have I ever fallen over my own feet. I have. And it's pretty embarrassing too, because if you're walking out in public, you're like, what just happened? So I've fallen over my own feet. And I'm pretty sure most of my family members have done this as well. Never have I ever snooped through someone's things. I have never. I've never snooped through somebody's things in my life, and I would never, because it's personal. Never have I ever had a drink in my mouth and somebody told me something funny and then I spit the drink out. I have. I've done it. A funny story behind this is I was once at a family dinner with my grandparents and somebody said something funny and I couldn't hold it in. I'm like, and I spit it out. And it was morally embarrassing, but on the same token, I felt sorry, but on the same token, it was funny and I felt like I couldn't hold it in. Like, you guys ever have those moments where you're just like, oh my goodness, that's so funny, but you just have to do it anyway. You just have to spit it out anyway because you can't hold it in. I was like, and then my drink went everywhere, and I had to clean it up. It was embarrassing. Alright, next one. Never have I ever gotten stuck in an elevator. I have never. And if I get stuck in an elevator by myself, I'm going to be banging on the door and pressing the call button at least like 5 times. I have claustrophobia, and I'm so claustrophobic that, like, if I get stuck in the elevator, I'm gonna freak out. I mean, if somebody else got stuck in an elevator and I was on the outside, I'd try to help them, but you can't. If you can pry the doors open, you can't pry the doors open, but you can try. But if you try 3 times to pry the doors open and the doors won't open, that's when you need to call for help. But at first, at least try, because sometimes it might get stuck in between floors and it'll like go down. But if you're stuck for more than 5 minutes, that's how you know. And the elevator stops. That's how you know you're not going anywhere, because you're stuck. All right. Never have I ever scared my parent or parents. I have. I scare my mother all the time, and she jumps out and she's like, Liz, what'd you do? I'm like, I scared you. Yeah, it's funny. Never have I ever hit my funny bone and laughed about it. I have. Sorry if you don't see my handwriting. Yeah, I've hit my funny bone several times, and I still laugh about it. Not that it's funny, but it's embarrassing. But I do find it funny when I hit my own funny bone, so. Yeah, I find it funny if it happens to me. But if it happens to somebody else, I'm going to be like, oh, are you okay? Alright, next one. Never have I ever danced in an elevator. I was at a hotel in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania with my dad. And I have. I was as I was saying, I was in a Hershey Park hotel with my dad, like down the street from Hershey Park. And all of a sudden, I just had the song stuck in my head, and I felt like dancing. My dad's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm dancing." And he's like, "Don't dance in the elevator. That's weird." So I have danced in an elevator. And if I were by myself in the elevator, I wouldn't care. I would just keep dancing. Alright, never have I ever sleepwalked and bumped into something. I've never sleepwalked in my, I've sleepwalked, but not to the point where I bumped into something. But I have sleepwalked, but not bumped into something, so I've never for that one. Never have I ever fallen on my nose. I have. It hurts. It really hurts. Like when you just go over something and you're like, oh, it hit you and you hit your nose. Kids, don't try that at home unless you trip over something. I tripped over the curb on the sidewalk once and I fell on my nose. I'm like, are you serious? I fell on my nose. Like, seriously? Never have I ever fallen down a flight of stairs. I have. I've fallen down a flight of stairs like at least twice in my life. I fell down the stairs when I was 5. Two funny stories. When I was 5 in 2012, I was going to the bus stop for kindergarten. So my mother's like, "Hurry up, you're going to be late for the bus. You need to go to kindergarten." All of a sudden, as I raced down the first step, this is at my other house in the same town, but this is at my other house. I still lived in Massachusetts, but this was at my old house, not here. This is a condo. But other than that, my mother's like, I took a step down the stairs, and all of a sudden I lost grip of the railing, and I went somersaulting down the stairs, and I hit my head. And after that, I had to have an ice pack, but then before I knew it, I had to go to school. So yes, I have. Never have I ever broken a wooden pencil. I have never, sorry, it's upside down. I have never, but my friends have. Like, when I was in the 3rd grade, people were, I'm in 8th grade now, but when I was in the 3rd grade, people were so obsessed with breaking wooden pencils. I'm like, what's your fast? They would just snap them in half. I'm like, seriously, you use those to write with, not to break. You need those for schoolwork. You don't need them to break them. So that's where that came from. And I'd rather mechanical pencils because then you can't snap them. But the lead runs out, so then you have to put in lead. But you can do that and just wash your hands. Never have I ever had soda go up my nose. I have. It burns. It really does burn. I'm like, no. No. And the worst part about it is every time I have soda drink go up my nose, I'm always drinking Sprite. Like, lemon lime soda going up your nose burns the most. More than Pepsi, actually. Well, I've had Pepsi go up my nose, too, but it doesn't burn as much as Sprite. It's not, I don't know what it is about Sprite that it makes it burn when it goes up your nose, but it burns. Never have I ever fallen up a flight of stairs. I've done that, too. I ran so hard that I tripped and fell up the stairs. I've tumbled up the stairs. I've tumbled down flights of stairs. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to tell you the other story. When I was 13 on my 13th birthday last year in 2020, March 7th, 2020, I was turning 13. I was at a movie theater going to see a movie in the theater. I wasn't in the theater showroom, but I was going down a flight of stairs, and I tumbled down a flight of stairs. And the people that worked at the movie theater saw me, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." But yeah, I fell down the flight of stairs at the movie. And I've also slipped on slippery stairs, mop stairs, and I've slipped on, people used to walk up and down in elementary school, and they used to be like, go up and down the stairs, and people used to slip because they used to spill drinks, and people used to slip on them up. I still slipped on them up stairs even today. The worst part is when you're walking on the floor, you're not near a flight of stairs, but you're on the floor, like in an 8th grade wing or whatever, or in an office building, and you walk and you slip, and you don't even see the caution slippery when wet sign, and then they want to see you, and they're like, oh, I should have paid attention to the sign. I do that sometimes, and it drives me nuts. Like, when you think, the moment you think there's nothing there, but there actually is something there, it's like, ugh. But yeah, I've fallen up a flight of stairs, and I've fallen down a couple flights of stairs. Never have I ever accidentally broken a glass cup. I have. I was at my dad's house once, and he gave me a glass of ice water because it was summertime, and the sweat from the water just came dripping down the cup from the ice. Like, you know how it's cold and it just runs down the thing just runs down the thing. I don't know what you call it, but the sweat from the water just runs down the cup. Well, that's what made it slippery. It wasn't my fault. The glass was slippery, and I thought I had it tight in my hands, and it broke. I was embarrassed. Never have I ever walked in on someone using the bathroom. I have. I've done it at school. In middle school, I did it last year in 7th grade. It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my goodness, this person's using the bathroom, and I just walked. But they didn't even lock. Well, the stall was locked, but the lock was broken. And that's why people think it's locked, and then someone walks in. The moment someone walks in on you, it's like, what the heck is going on? All right, next one. Never have I ever laughed so hard I cried. I have. It's mostly watching, like, Vine YouTube videos with little kids. They're so funny. Like, a tear rolls down my eyes. Alright, next one. Never have I ever laughed so hard I couldn't tell the person what I was laughing at. I have. Especially if my mother's home and I'm watching a video, she'll be like, what's so funny? Like, you ever have those moments where you're laughing so hard that every time you go to tell the person what's so funny, you can't even get out a word because you just keep laughing that it's so funny? Like, that's what I've done. Never have I ever broken a bone. I've fallen, but I've never broken a bone. Never have I ever snuck out of my house before. I have, out of the condo. And I'm not going to tell you why because it's embarrassing and I did something wrong, I did something I shouldn't have, but I learned my lesson. I've snuck out of here twice. Alright, last and final one. Never have I ever fallen out of a chair. I have. Because I was tipping back in my seat in the 3rd grade and my teacher told me not to, and I did, and I fell out of the chair. So that's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe. Please get me to 1K subscribers. If you like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Comment your questions down here or follow me on Instagram. And turn on your post notifications. I post every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Peace out, Patriot friends.